so I'm going to give you an introduction to the heart for A-level students studying biology in year 12. Okay, so obviously this is a bull's heart. You can see that there's a lot of muscle on the outside, and you've got lots of blood vessels going down the outside supplying the muscle itself with blood. That's glucose and oxygen for the muscle cells to do respiration. I'm going to have a look inside the heart now, and it's already cut open on the left hand side of the heart. So I'm going to take you through exactly how the heart works, including the electrical conductivity of the heart muscle. Okay, so we're going to come into the heart on the left hand side of the body from the pulmonary vein. That is the vein that has come from the lungs, delivering oxygenated blood to the heart. You can see that when it comes down into the left hand side, it has to first pass through this valve. This is the bicuspid valve, and you can see here that we've got these heartstrings. These are tendons that are connected to the papillary muscle of the left ventricle. The purpose of this valve is to allow blood through. As the blood fills up the ventricle, the blood fills up to the top here and fills the valve cusps and stops blood from flowing backwards out through the pulmonary vein.
Heart valves control the direction of the blood that flows through the heart. There are 4 valves, 2 regulating inflow, 2 regulating outflow. Notice how the valves snap shut when blood is pushed back against them. Real heart valves look and work like this. Tricuspid valve, pulmonary valve, mitral or bicuspid valve, aortic valve.
As the blood is filled up the ventricle, it slowly fills up. The ventricle will then contract and push blood up out through the aorta, which is the main artery to the body. That's supplying all the nutrients, the glucose and oxygen that the body needs. You can also see that the left-hand side of the heart, the muscle's actually a lot thicker, and that's to increase the pressure of the blood around the body. Right, obviously there's a bit of a problem when you're controlling heartbeat, because the heartbeat is controlled by electrical impulses. And actually inside the heart there's a patch of tissue called the pacemaker. This is also known as the sinoatrial node, or the SAN. And what that does is that provides a wave of electrical activity over the heart. Now the problem with that is if the electricity went over the entire heart, the whole heart would contract as one. We don't want that. The heart needs to contract at the atria at the top first, then the bottom of the ventricles up the way. So it's got a special adaptation to do that. Inside at the top here we have the atrioventricular node, which sends its electrical impulse across the atria. This makes the atria, the walls, contract, pushing blood down into the ventricles. The electrical conductivity is prevented from moving into the ventricles because there's a band of insulating material around the heart. What that means is the electricity can only travel down the centre of the heart, the septum, and this is where we find the bundles of His and the Purkinje fibres. The signal is delayed for a small amount of time in the AVN, the atrioventricular node, and then the electrical activity moves down here to the base of the heart, and then the electricity conducts up the way, meaning that the ventricle then contracts. And that is how the heart contracts at the top first, then at the bottom. Okay, so we're now looking at the right hand side of the heart. You can see there's a massive difference in the muscle on this right hand side compared to the left hand side. The left hand side is probably about 5 times the size. Here's also another valve that's opened up here, clearly showing these tendons, which are going to stop the backflow of blood. That's why they're anchored to this muscle. Alright. The right hand side of the heart pumps blood to the lungs. It comes in through the cava, down here, and into the atria, down into the ventricle, then it leaves through the pulmonary artery going to the lungs from the heart. An important thing to remember is arteries always go away from the heart, veins always go towards the heart. pulmonary means lung, so you can work out if it's a pulmonary artery. You can see here we've got an artery. You can see the artery wall is quite thick and it's also very elastic. You can pull on it here. It has to be elastic to take the pressure of the blood. Because blood is pumped from a really strong muscle, the elastic fibres in that allow it to stretch and coil. When people have eaten a lot of high fat in their diet, you can get small deposits and something called arteriosclerosis, which is a hardening of the arteries, which prevents this from stretching and eventually can burst, leading to a stroke. So that's arteriosclerosis. That's the causes of this, the loss of elasticity in the artery.